Hi everyone, my name is Alan and welcome to a review for the A7 III. The A7 III from Sony is a full-frame mirrorless camera. It has an E-mount and it has in-body stabilization. What we mean by E-mount is if you've already invested in Sony glass, you do not need to buy new lenses for your camera if you're either using an ASPC lens or already using a full-frame lens. This is because the E-mount allows you to use the same selection of lenses on all your devices. Also, the camera has in-body stabilization, as I had mentioned earlier. This means that it is handy for hands-on shooting, where you will avoid all that shaky stuff that you usually have if you do not have a gimbal. The camera also has a 3.0 USB jack, a HDMI port, a USB-C port, and a headphone jack. This comes in handy when you want to check out your sound whenever you're recording. Another handy feature of this camera is the dual SD card slots. It has a UHS-1 and UHS-2 slot on the camera. This allows you to back up your footage or pictures while shooting. The camera also has a tiltable screen. This comes in handy when you want to shoot subjects that are either at an angle that is above you or below you. It allows you to use a camera in a handy way. As a mirrorless camera, it also has an EVF with 269 points of color. This is not so bad. It allows you to actually see exactly what you're shooting and gives you accurate color production. What else can we say about this camera? It has customizable buttons, which comes in handy depending on your workflow. Some of you need to change where your shutter button is and where your video recording button is, and this comes in handy when you have customizable buttons. It also has aperture adjustment dial. This allows you to handily change the light that comes through your lens while shooting, and for videographers, you know how handy this can be. And you're probably wondering what footage you can get out of this camera. It is actually a 4K camera. This means that it can shoot in 4K 30 frames per second and 25 frames per second. And it also shoots full HD 1080p up to 120 frames per second. This allows you to, shoot flawless slow motion and handy for those who want to speed ramp their footage. So let's talk about the dial. The camera's dial has your usual auto setting, aperture setting, shutter setting, manual setting. But the coolest thing about this camera, it also has an S and Q setting. This allows you to shoot slow and quick. It allows you to shoot flawless time lapses and also slow motion. Another cool feature about this camera is the handle. The sturdy handle you get here is courtesy of the MPFZ100 batteries. These are the same batteries you get on the A9, but with the Bions X processor on this camera, you get a lot more out of these batteries. Something else to consider about this camera is the Bions X processor and the sensor on this camera. The Bions X processor allows the camera to shoot better in low light, and also it helps the camera's artificial intelligence autofocus. The autofocus on this camera is out of this world. Sony calls it the best in the world. So you're probably wondering where you can get your hands on this camera. Welcome to Snapshot Kenya. We are at Park Suites on the ground floor at 44 Parklands, opposite the Parklands Police Station. See you there.